I've been debating about making this video since the first week of May, so roughly 3 weeks at least the idea's been in my mind. I let it pull me in, experience the feelings and thoughts around it, and then I let it go, because there are other things to do right now. But every creative person that's ever asked me about an idea they've had or tried before has received the same response time after time. If there's an idea that keeps coming back to you, something that just doesn't leave you alone and won't let you go, it's because that idea belongs to you. It needs you to do something with it. The idea must be pursued. It keeps coming back for a reason. And now, I not only think it's time for this video, I know it's time. This is the moment, and it's good to do. I need to make this. Every creator on YouTube, no matter what they do, comes to realize that we have the power of breaking from the norm here and there and just being reflective, or even self-indulgent for a whole video. I'm going to use that privilege now, but if I'm right in what I'm thinking, then this is going to serve a lot more than just making solid ground again for me. My next 2 videos are already planned. I know what they are, I want to do them, and I'm prepared to do them. But this is something I have to do first. It's kept calling me, and it's time I pick up the phone. Once I do this, I can get back to normal. The best, long-time version of normal. Back in 2015, I made the Nightmind channel on YouTube on April 10th after visiting the world of Marble Hornets again. I had known about it since the summer of 2011 and spent a while watching it back then, transfixed, but unable to complete the journey because it was still in production. The first video I ever made and uploaded for Marble Hornets Explained landed on July 20th, 2015, though I consider the 19th my channel birthday due to YouTube taking 6 hours overnight to get that video online. Yeah, I started out with some pretty terrible internet speed. When I decided to upload, I had already finished part 2. I wanted to have a video backlog so I'd never just be waiting on myself to finish something. That's the dream that all YouTubers have, I think, and it's always shown to be unrealistic early into our careers. The first video was actually done, I believe, in late June. It was July when I moved on to part 2 and made that, so for the months of April, May, and June, I was completely dedicated to Marble Hornets even before I had any sort of presence online. 3 months of work just to launch my channel, and it wasn't merely because I wanted a backlog. That was about 20% of my reason. Marble Hornets had me hooked in full media detective mode for 3 months because it was Marble Hornets. I had a big legal notepad that I filled halfway with all of my notes as I watched the series, followed by all my points of speculation. I had another notepad and random bits of paper that I wrote on whenever I thought of something else or made a connection. I had a folder full of screenshots, Word documents, all of it. But most of all, what I had was an obsession. I've always been a creature of drive, passion, and inspiration. If something catches my imagination and attention, it has my heart, mind, and soul for as long as there's material to explore. I'm an addictive personality, and my vices are all in the form of media and the mind. I don't need a cigarette, I don't need a drug, I don't need a drink, but I do need a story. The creative and imagination-fueling pieces of the world that tug at heart, mind, and soul are the only things I've consistently needed in life. Without them, I feel hollow. I've never cared about anything else. I need to tell an incredible story or celebrate art that I've fallen in love with. I need something undiscovered and powerful to uncover and explore, secrets to unearth. The mundane world and its normal workings don't inspire or encourage me. I don't care about all of that. I need to touch the unreal and fantastic, whether on a page or a screen, in a CD or a tape, a book or an illustration. I believe this is the core of a creative person who makes a career out of their work, the soul-bound dedication to whatever grand, fantastic thing strikes them and compels action. Marble Hornets was one such muse I had since 2011, like I mentioned earlier, but it didn't come completely and fully into my life until 2015, when I was able to finish the series and really dig into everything it involved. Around this time, inspired by Marble Hornets and in pursuit of more things like it, I realized there was a giant lack of recognition for web series and immersive online projects. Creepypasta narrators and scary list video makers. That's all there was on YouTube. If you didn't narrate creepypasta, then you made videos about the top 10 creepiest, scariest, or most disturbing whatever. And it wasn't enough for me. It wasn't right to me. It felt completely and utterly wrong. All these narrators, all these list makers, good for them, but what about the seriously amazing, dedicated, creative stuff? It felt like the only great thing about that whole scene was the work of the writers who made the stories being read, and even then, a lot of it started to get as repetitive as the performance styles of the narrators. No innovation, no grand creativity, just the same old stuff with minor differences. Something as massively powerful and inventive, as creative and inspirational, as awesome and gripping as Marble Hornets and projects that came in its wake got no fanfare, no love. And what hurt more was seeing the light of creativity they sparked in people die out as projects ended and audiences drifted away during slow periods. Creative stories and fantastic possibilities that break open the mundane aspects of a boring and expected world are my heart. Marble Hornets had quickened my pulse after a seriously disappointing down period in my life. I had a muse that occupied my heart, mind, and soul, and I had more than a few bones to pick with YouTube's horror scene. YouTube as a whole even aggravated me to the point of needing to see a massive change. My inspiration, drive, and passion were engaged and ready to take up arms. I was already enchanted and obsessive with online media. Now, I was ready to be consumed by it and work at using my nature for good. Marble Hornets wasn't just this amazing art project. It was an award winner and the leader of an art and storytelling movement that wasn't being brought on stage to receive its awards and applause. I needed to build that stage. The guys who made Marble Hornets were more than worth it, and everyone else I found in my pursuit of things like Marble Hornets were worth it too. All these major projects ignited my imagination and inspiration in ways that I didn't know videos on the internet ever could, and they needed to be celebrated. What Troy, Joseph, and Tim had made was fantastic, and in doing so, they had become fantastic, done the fantastic, defied the ordinary, the boring, the expected. They had created and embodied the unbelievable. It was time to make the world wake up and take notice, so I fell into Marble Hornets completely. My inspiration, my mind, my heart. It had everything. I spent 3 months on it. I spent even more time as I finished up the Explain series. And then I had done it. I finished the mission and knew the product inside and out, deeper than any other fan or viewer. Every ounce of inspiration and love I had for this amazing, incredible thing had been bled into an act of celebration and devotion. I built the stage, I put them on it, I called the crowd, I filmed the event, I cataloged it with the whole internet. It was done. I had explored the depths of my obsession with my first muse as part of Nightmind. The mass of Marble Hornets was complete, and I could get out of my priest outfit. And then it was time to become enchanted again. A new adventure, a new monster, another Herculean creative feat to document and share with everybody. It couldn't stop at Marble Hornets. I didn't want it to stop there. I conducted more investigations, found new muses, Everyman Hybrid, Tribe 12, Allen Tutorial, unedited footage of a bear. All incredible, all uncelebrated, all worth talking about. I didn't just want to be the one to step up for these projects and tell the world. I needed to. It was right around October that I realized what I've been doing wasn't just finding isolated moments of brilliance on YouTube. I have found what easily could be, and in some ways already was, an art movement. The Big Slenderman web series inspired a lot of other projects, and through unrelated projects both old and new, like Allen Tutorial and unedited footage of a bear, this type of storytelling was growing legs and arms. I began my night vision series to start talking about all the brand new material joining the field, newly inspired by old projects like Marble Hornets and amazing newer pieces. I started digging for even older and more obscure relics, projects on par with Marble Hornets in effort and storytelling, though not as popular or forgotten by the world as the internet evolved. I found the Wyoming incident. I found Jack Torrance. I covered Ben Drown to let the world know it was much more than just a creepypasta story. I brought in the mystery of Camdrome. I just kept digging. I needed to find more things that gave me the feelings the Big 3 Slenderman web series and Allen Tutorial did, in all the ways they did. The inspiration, the love, the obsession strong enough to explore it down to a cellular level, the passion for all the emotions and thoughts generated, and an irrefutable sense of story and fantastic achievement had been unjustly ignored and for much too long. Amazing underdogs and beautiful misfits. I wanted to find them all, bring all of them to people, celebrate them and all that they were. Creators who put their world into something do so to add more to all of ours, and they shouldn't return to a world that's indifferent to their achievements. And through all the steps of my crazy indie media crusade, I found myself here. Now, at this moment, this odd point, soon to be 3 years of Nightmind, 3 years of trying to be the Lara Croft of the internet's imagination. And along the way, I found a lot of tombs, made a lot of discoveries, uncovered lost cities and incredible relics. And now, looking at my shelf of memories, I face a very tough realization, one that I've been fighting against accepting for months. When you plow through everything incredible enough to obsess over, all the mythical and mystical wonders of the world worth going on these addictive, crazy adventures for, all that's left is interesting archaeology. Now, the beauty of this field is that it's not like a realm of Tomb Raider adventures. We're not stuck with a few giant discoveries and nothing more to do. This art form is growing, adapting, constantly giving birth, new creators being inspired and joining the fray. Right? It should be like that anyway. That's how it feels. That's how I felt when I was doing all of this. That's what I was hoping for all this time. I've been slow for a while on uploads. I know it. You know it. Anyone who's been watching me for a few years knows it. It looks like and feels like something has been wrong for a few months now, hasn't it? That's because there has been something wrong. And now, after all the stages I've been through in this downtime period, I've come back around to the first one I started out with when creating Night Minds. Finally. Desire and drive. But before all of this, for a while now, to put it bluntly, I've been bored, I've been uninspired, I've been jaded, I've been even cynical. I have most definitely been depressed. I have not been okay. And it's taken me a while to accept that I needed to admit that, but there it is. Crypt TV and the REM collection of Cabin Fever Dreams material have been the only pieces that truly drove my desire to cover things. And I've been coming alive a bit more here and there for sure, like I did just recently with Daisy Brown. That helped stir things in me again. But overall, for a few months now, it hasn't been that hot. I haven't been myself. And no, I don't mean with the whole Cabin Fever Dreams fun of the hair character. I mean me in my entirety. I've been experiencing a disconnect between my mind and my heart. My mind recognizes things that are worth talking about. Even if there are some flaws or I've seen better, I know when I see things that are video worthy. I do know it, but I sit and I think about the possibilities of a video and I feel nothing. My heart just sits there waiting to find something to agree on with the brain, and it's been the most horribly frustrating, discouraging experience. Heart and mind are both needed to initiate soul. Soul is drive. Soul is necessary to obsess over something and get things done. Soul is needed to be the version of me that stays up for 24 hours or more finishing a video and then getting breakfast for dinner with a smile on my face as the video renders. Soul is mandatory for being the Nick Nocturne you all expect me to be and deserve to get content from. And it's not for lack of desire to work that this has been going on. It's a lack of food. Real food. My food. Full meals for my soul. It's not like I'm burned out. I'm dehydrated. There hasn't been enough water in any of the vessels I've looked in to bring me to a point above staying alive. It's because nothing compares to Marble Hornets, Alan tutorial, unedited footage of a bear, don't hug me I'm scared, all of that crowd. Nothing has quite lit the fire of my first 2 years. And I've been dying to get that fire back. Which is why, finally, I can talk about this after coming out of the bad state that I've been in. My boredom, my depression over this, the emptiness and jaded sense, all of it has finally broken and let go. I need to find new stuff again. I'm hungry for it. My desire for adventure is back. My absolute need to see and celebrate the unbelievable and inspire more of it in the world is back. And it's right on cue. We're in the same time frame now that it was when I first began my journey. 3 years ago, right at this time, the Advent Explained series was underway for Marble Hornets, and memories of that experience have been calling me to take a look again, to remember what it was that got me on this path. Marble Hornets started this. It got the fire lit for Night Minds. It's time to examine it just once more, to walk around and remind ourselves of what we as a community, as creators, are capable of and how powerful we can be. So just what was it about this series that got me? What was it about this series that got everyone and kept them? And more importantly, what is it about Marble Hornets that brings me back a spark of what it gave me every time I think about it? Is it the meditative quality of so many of the videos paired with a masochistic sense of dread and mystery? Is it the equivalency it has to the real world given a shocking and unbelievable door to Wonderland? Is it the unprepared, down-and-out detective with a hunch and no backup adventure story? Is it just the evidence that someone, somewhere had a brush with the unreal and fantastic, and now we're fighting to find them and uncover a piece of it ourselves? I think it's all of that. I think, more than anything, Marble Hornets took an approach to giving us the most realistic story of breaking through the wall of reality you can get in found footage. I think it's a form of secrets hidden behind secrets that you unlock in some of the most mysterious, and yet believable ways possible. I think it's the sense of Jay Merrick being the central character and the audience. He is us, and we are Jay. And every step along the way of the story, there's a sense of undeniable reality that opens the door for the unreal and horrifying to hit so strongly. Marble Hornets feels like an urban exploration trip into an abandoned building where there really, actually is a monster hiding somewhere inside, and we only find out after seeing evidence of it the moment we realize that we're lost. Jay is the very symbol of breaking away from the mundane and chasing down the fantastic and unreal, with all the intriguing and compelling points of writing behind consequences if he doesn't get involved, and equally terrifying ones if he does continue. And this doesn't just happen to him, he activates it, he invites it, and as consequence, it strikes back and opens the door to the fantastic a little bit more. And as the mystery and the promise of the truly extraordinary and shocking grows, we stay grounded in the reality that Jay presents, giving us that irresistible sense of uncovering a true dark secret of the world if we dare to keep going. And it's all being uncovered by the most believable, reachable human in a format that compels you to believe. All of this occurred in a place and way that is dominated by real documentation and the experiences of real people, uploaded by those seen in videos. You want to know why House of Leaves is suggested to me so often and loved by so many people who watch Slenderman web series and have made them? Because it's the only form of novel you can ever read that perfectly captures the same feelings that Marble Hornets presents. But going back to Marble Hornets, besides all of what I've just said about what it accomplishes, it also has the distinction of every single project that has ever resonated with me on an obsessive addictive level and compelled heart, mind, and soul to celebrate it. It was unique. It was the first. It was original, the only thing quite like it, and the creators broke new ground just by making it. Nobody did what they did, and nobody has ever done it as well since. To touch the fantastic and have it reach out, demand an investigation, generate an adventure, breaking away from the mundane to pursue the unreal and the grounds of reality. Marble Hornets did that, and in doing so, it also inspired others who could do what Troy, Joseph, and Tim did. Marble Hornets didn't just involve a story about a call to adventure and the possibilities. It was a call to adventure and its possibilities. And in my own way, I ended up answering that call. The feeling was great enough that I wanted to make a life of bringing other people that same experience, that call to adventure, the stories that linger in the mind long after you put away the phone or close the browser window. Twin Peaks did the same thing too, and my video about it may not exist anymore because of content ID blocks here on YouTube, but I remember chasing that mystery, having those feelings. In fact, speaking of Twin Peaks, you know what else Marble Hornets had that really put the hook in? Once again, it goes back to the reality presented and the attempts to keep things on the level of being legitimate, but it's still a feat that few others truly accomplish. Character. In Marble Hornets, we have characters with unfolding backstory who are affected by the events and do relay those effects in ways that get through to us, while not being campy or forced. Sometimes the acting may not feel as if it's the strongest, but the line of reality we do have makes the moments of impact strong. These aren't just ideas of people stuck in here to carry a plot. These are characters who were solid enough that they created the plot through their actions, thoughts, feelings, and reactions to events and each other. And that is how writing works. Marble Hornets is never passive, it's always active. Jay and Tim are always doing something. Every character is always up to something. Even when things are slow, you know that in the background, something is taking place that's going to reveal itself very soon and either help or hurt Jay and Tim. Curiosity, stress, fear, determination, grudging anger, intimidation, despair. We see all of it in these characters in response to events, and it's all doled out at what feels like just the right moments and in the right amounts. And when we find out motivations that certain characters have for the way they've acted, and hints about what it is they've done off camera, Wow. Now this is a class on writing. The best stories, the ones that really stay with us, are made of people who stick in our memory. They leave impressions on us, create emotional attachments in us, even if it's just the sense of wanting to do something like they have. A truly undeniable attractive quality of Marble Hornets is the idea of being Jay himself in your own crazy investigation. Hotel hopping, breaking and entering, chasing down old friends turned into crazed lunatics under the influence of an actual monster, exploring deep woods and abandoned buildings, analyzing videotapes of the most mysterious and unbelievable things you've ever encountered, all coated in the goosebumps-inducing feeling of reality, and doing so with the constant air of carrying out one of the most important secret missions that could ever be picked up by the average person. After all, we can't forget Tim's haunting words at the end of Marble Hornets.
What makes you think I'm the only source? There could be hundreds of others. Thousands. You could be spreading it too.
This is a monster that can be infecting hundreds or even thousands of people, a disease that nobody's aware of, and it's up to those who know about it to take on the bravest task of all. Being the first journeyman in learning about a brand new form of evil and how to put an end to it. Jay didn't ask for this burden, but once he discovered the operator and began to learn about what it could do, the responsibility of putting a nightmare to bed fell on his shoulders. He is the unreal hiding in the mundane, carrying and chasing the greatest, darkest secrets in a hotel room just a few doors away from vacationing families and traveling business agents. Jay's adventure is the most immersive reality-based trip into Wonderland that can be presented in a format that provides the same atmosphere. That is the power of Marble Hornets. It's not just a web series, it's an experience that does its best in every way to come across as real, present, just beyond the screen, in this world, carried on by actual people experiencing an actual thing. It is the fantastic manifested in a form that you can access and be part of with a feast for the mind, heart, and soul. I want to feel the way that Marble Hornets made me feel again. I want to make discoveries like Alan Tutorial again. I want unbelievable fun houses to be the tour guide for again, like unedited footage of a bear and this house has people in it. I want to be driven so up the wall for inspiration and creativity, and a fierce, undying passion to match it again like I was with Don't Hug Me I'm Scared, that I spend hundreds of dollars and countless days of staying up all night building a set like I did before. I want to find things that make me feel all those ways again, so I can bring them to you and you can feel that way again too. Because I know I'm not the only one that misses it. I know you miss it. We've all been missing it for a while, I think, even with good new things that come around. We can be doing better, creating better, making the scene better, not just in terms of creations, but this entire field. We've been shown the power to be the change we want to see in the world, and so far, no one has truly claimed the torch that Marble Hornets left behind. But we can. We can continue ensuring the growth of what's been born. Troy, Joseph, and Tim weren't seeking to start a movement or reignite an art form when they made Marble Hornets. They had a story they wanted to tell, and they told it, but they started something that had massive ripple effects. They started something, period, and we're in a better place than ever to make it stick and cement it. And I've considered that maybe I'm impatient, maybe I'm spoiled, and my bar for inspiration is too high. Maybe I'm just a horrible, egotistic cynic who can't love things unless there's somehow God tier anymore. Maybe I'm the problem, but I can't deny what I've been feeling for months now. You can only tell yourself you've got a few more miles left in the tank and can reach a gas station before the engine suddenly quits half an hour from town. My meter's been hovering on E for a while. I'm ready to take an exit and look for the gas station. It's time to refuel. This is why content has been slow to appear. I am the most die-hard, passion-driven, working all hours, non-stop person I know. I was that person all the way up through this past October. And now, after my dark period, I've cycled back to the ground floor of who I was when I started Nightmind. I am driven again. I'm ready to be obsessive, determined, and overdo it on effort again. I'm ready to be Explain Series Nick Nocturne again. And I don't know how long it's going to take to find material that makes me into that in its fullest extent. But I can tell you this, the desire is back. My sense of feeling lost and defeated over this is gone. I found new life and love in some of the things out here right now that I haven't given full treatment, and the need to just pump out videos and be myself again has me enthusiastic. I could never be the YouTube channel that covers every spooky or mysterious thing that catches the attention of the masses. If something doesn't excite me, then I'm not going to waste your time and my own with it. I need to chase the stuff that makes me excited, because when I'm excited, I do my best work. It makes me the Nick Nocturne you all expect me to be and deserve to see videos from. I don't regret the uploads I've made this year. What I regret is not having much more of them and not feeling as optimal and enthusiastic as I wanted to be. I never like to admit when I'm under the weather, and admitting something this big, that my fire had dimmed, that I just didn't want to make videos on anything, somehow, that I couldn't be enthusiastic, me, that was really tough. That was painful. That was something I just did not want to confront. But I needed to confront it. I needed this. I needed to look at Marble Hornets again and remember why I did all this in the first place. Why I'm here. Why I love this and live it and want it to continue growing and succeeding. We're going to get back to the way we were, you and me, and we'll be better than we were last time. New experience, new growth, new knowledge and skills, now with the same old fire and passion. Desire is mandatory for YouTube. It's mandatory for creativity in general, and now my desire is back. It may take a while to find the next major adventure. I'm okay with that. Right now, I've got a lot to smile about when it comes to the creations that are out there, and we're going to have a really good time celebrating them. Thanks to all of you for sticking with me through this, and especially all of you who've reached this point in the video, listening to me ramble and just get my thoughts out in this way. I mean it when I say your support means the world to me. Nightmind is my world, and it's the vehicle to express what makes life worth living for me. I've always known what my work is, and I love my work. I love you guys. You let me live it. You let me live my work. Patreon supporters, subscribers, casual viewers, all of you make the unreal manifest in reality for me, and I can never thank you enough. This story continues because you allow it. My story continues because of you. The next two videos, like I said, are planned, and I'm feeling good about them. I'm happy to be doing them and excited about what they stand for, what they mean. I truly am back in the working mood. You can expect the first one soon. And as always, thank you all again. Thank you, thank you, thank you sincerely. Much love to all of you. Once more, I am Nick Nocturne. And I'll be seeing you again real soon. Sleep tight.